Something genuinely bizarre is flying through our solar system right now. An object from another star system, potentially twice as old as our own, has arrived, and it is baffling astronomers. This is 3I/Atlas, only the third interstellar visitor we've ever confirmed. You might remember Oumuamua. In 2017, that weird, cigar-shaped rock we still don't understand. Then came 2I/Borisov, which looked like a totally normal comet. But 3I/Atlas, it's already proving to be infinitely weirder. The news might call it an interstellar comet, but they are leaving out the insane details. We're talking about behavior that seems to defy physics and a chemical signature that might be unnatural. Officially spotted by the Atlas system on July 1st, 2025, this object is hauling. It covered the distance between Jupiter and Mars in just a few months. To give you an idea, it took the Voyager probes nearly 2 years just to reach Jupiter. It's traveling way too fast for our sun's gravity to capture it. This is known as a hyperbolic trajectory, confirming it's just passing through. But as it approached, things got strange very quickly. Here's the first puzzle. Normal comets in our system are mostly water ice, dirty snowballs. They don't wake up and grow that fuzzy halo, the coma, until they get close enough to the sun, usually past Jupiter, where the ice starts to sublimate, turning straight to gas. But when the TESS satellite observed 3I/Atlas back in May 2025, it was way out in the freezing depths between Saturn and Jupiter, yet it was already incredibly bright. If it were made of water ice, that shouldn't happen. Then it got weirder. Over the summer, the object began to form a tail. Normal, right? Except it was growing in the wrong direction, towards the sun. The sun is constantly blowing out solar wind like a giant fan, which always pushes a comet's tail backward away from the sun. But 3I/Atlas appeared to have a tail pointing straight into the solar wind. It made no sense. Scientists pointed the world's most powerful telescopes, including James Webb and Hubble, at 3I/Atlas, and the results were stunning. The coma surrounding 3I/Atlas isn't water. It's almost entirely carbon dioxide, dry ice. The ratio of CO2 to water is 8:1. That's 16 times more CO2 than we've ever seen in a typical comet. It's completely backwards. This explains the early brightness. CO2 sublimates at much colder temperatures than water. The CO2 cloud is massive, almost half the size of the sun. It tells us that 3I/Atlas was formed in a star system where the fundamental ingredients are totally alien compared to our own. Scientists pointed the world's most powerful telescopes, including James Webb and Hubble, at 3I/Atlas, and the results were stunning. The coma surrounding 3I/Atlas isn't water. It's almost entirely carbon dioxide, dry ice. The ratio of CO2 to water is 8:1. That's 16 times more CO2 than we've ever seen in a typical comet. It's completely backwards. This explains the early brightness. CO2 sublimates at much colder temperatures than water. The CO2 cloud is massive, almost half the size of the sun. It tells us that 3I/Atlas was formed in a star system where the fundamental ingredients are totally alien compared to our own. But this next discovery is the most baffling, and it's the one that really has scientists confused. This summer, the Very Large Telescope in Chile detected the presence of nickel metal in the coma of 3I/Atlas, but it found absolutely no trace of iron. This is huge. Iron and nickel are cosmic partners. They are forged together in the hearts of dying stars and blasted out by supernovae. In nature, in asteroids, moons, and planets, they are always found together. The only time we ever see nickel on its own is when we, as humans, purposely separate the two metals in an industrial process. So, how did nickel get onto 3I/Atlas without any iron? We have no idea. Naturally, this brings us to everyone's favorite explanation: aliens. When you have pure nickel and bizarre behavior, speculation runs wild. Is the CO2 cloud exhaust from a giant spaceship? Is the nickel part of an artificial structure? Look, it's probably not aliens, but the data is so strange that right now, no one can say with 100% certainty that it's not artificial. We have a small window to learn more. In early October 2025, 3I/Atlas passes close by Mars, and the European Space Agency will use 2 orbiters to try and snap a picture to determine the object's actual shape. Its closest approach to the Sun is October 29th. But we might have one last incredible shot. On March 16th, 2026, it will fly past Jupiter. NASA's Juno probe is already there. NASA was planning to crash Juno into Jupiter, but now they might try a potential end-of-life mission to intercept 3I/Atlas on its way out of the solar system. As weird as it's been studying this object so far, we are not done with it yet. This story is developing right now, and what we find could change everything. Subscribe to stay updated.